Welcome, biology students in Tolbert's class, to Chapter 9, Lesson 3. This is the chapter over cellular respiration. We're in the third lesson of this particular chapter. The Krebs cycle. Ooh, we got Krebs. You got them from your parents. What happens during the Krebs cycle? During the Krebs cycle, this pyruvic acid, but remember, pyruvic acid happened that way because we had glycolysis, glycolysis. Let's break it down, sugar. The end result of glycolysis is 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid is broken down into carbon dioxide in a series of energy extracting reactions. During the Krebs cycle, and as you can notice here, the Krebs cycle is the second stage of cellular respiration. Pyruvic acid is produced in glycolysis broken down during the carbon dioxide in a series of energy extraction reactions. I've already said that. The Krebs cycle is also known as the citric acid cycle because citric acid is the first compound formed in this particular interaction. So, once again, cellular respiration has 3 stages. The first is glycolysis, the second is the Krebs cycle, the third we will cover will be the electron transport chain. Citric acid production. Then you have this pyruvic acid from glycolysis entering the matrix. Remember, we had glycolysis happening on the outside in the cytoplasm, and then it's going to be going into the mitochondria. Now we're going to talk about the mitochondria and and the matrix. The matrix is the innermost compartment of the mitochondria that you can see in the picture to the right. Where does it go? When oxygen is available, something special happens to that pyruvate. It enters the mitochondria, where it undergoes further breakdown. If oxygen is not available during this particular stage, it goes into fermentation, where it undergoes reduction there. Fermentation is the anaerobic. Anaerobic, once again, means without oxygen process that does not require oxygen. In humans, pyruvate is reduced to lactic acid. In the mitochondria, once again, the mitochondrion is the cellular organelle that has a double membrane and an intermembrane space between 2 layers. The transition reaction and the citric acid cycle happen inside of the matrix. This is where Neo is. That is inside of the mitochondria. And the electron transport chain, or the electron transport system, is also located in the cristae of the mitochondria. So you're getting deeper and deeper into the mitochondria as you're getting to the citric acid cycle, and then finally the electron transport system. This picture you should be able to fill out in your guided notes. You need to know that glycolysis happens in the cytoplasm. The dark image at the top of the screen there is a mitochondria. And I'm showing you also here where the matrix is and where these other 2, the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chains, actually happening. The Krebs cycle is where the citric acid cycle and the transition reaction happens. The cristae is where the electron transport chain happens. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this peanut thing here is the mitochondria. This here is an electron microscope picture of a mitochondria. So, once again, this transition reaction. This transition reaction connects glycolysis to the Krebs cycle, better otherwise known as the citric acid cycle. Pyruvate is changed into acetyl-CoA, and carbon dioxide is released. During this oxidation reaction, NAD+ is converted into NADH+ plus some hydrogen. This reaction happens twice per glucose molecule. Write this down in your word maps, please. So, the inputs, what it takes for the transition reaction. We're starting with 2 pyruvate molecules, 2 molecules of this CoA, and 2 of the carrier molecules that are ready to be reduced, 2 of the NAD pluses. The output would be acetyl-CoA, some carbon dioxide, and fully charged NADHs. Citric acid production again. Once the pyruvic acid in the mitochondria is in the matrix, the NAD plus accepts the 2 hydrogen electrons, and a molecule of carbon dioxide is also made. The 2 remaining atoms react to form acetyl-CoA. So, this is where we are here. The pyruvic acid here enters the mitochondria and goes through, in the matrix, goes through this transition reaction and then, of course, into the Krebs cycle. A little bit of carbon dioxide is made during this process. Acetyl-CoA combines a 4-carbon molecule to produce citric acid. So, this is why, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you were wondering why the Krebs cycle is also called the citric acid cycle, is because the first thing created in the Krebs cycle is citric acid. This is done in the matrix. Extra energy. You have this in your guided notes. Citric acid is broken down into a 5-carbon compound and then a 4-carbon compound. 2 more molecules of carbon dioxide are released. The 4-carbon compound can then start the cycle again, combining with acetyl-CoA, which you see in the green circle there. Energy released by the breaking down and the rearrangement of carbon is captured in the forms of ATP, NADH, and the other transfer molecule, FADH, which you see in the green circle there. For each turn of the cycle, ADP molecule is converted into ATP molecule. ATP can be used directly to power the cell's activities. So to summarize it, NAD plus and FAD are reduced to NADH and FAD2. And they take those high energy electrons to the electron transport chain or electron transport system. The electron carriers, NAD plus and FAD, accept a pair of high energy electrons to form NADH and FADH2. NADH and FADH2 are used in the electron transport chain to make us high quality energy, ATP, more than a place to live. So remember, each molecule of glucose results in 2 molecules of pyruvic acid that enters the Krebs or the citric acid cycle. So each molecule of glucose results in 2 complete turns of the Krebs cycle. For each glucose molecule, 6 carbon dioxide molecules are made, 2 ATP molecules are made, 8 NADHs, and 2 FADH molecules are produced. You can go ahead and stop this lesson here, and we will be doing the Krebs cycle worksheet. Thank you for your time and patience today. Have a good one.